This isn't your typical podcast. It's a rollercoaster of witty repartee and bold perspectives. Join mayhem and mania in a space where science meets sass and innovation has an audacious grin. Welcome to the exceptional, where education meets exhilaration. This is Bold Bitch Banter.
Welcome back, bold bitches.
What's up, bold bitches?
Welcome to another episode where we are.
Bold bitch banter.
No, I was supposed to say where we dive into, a topic called unraveling conflict.
Ooh,
Yes.
give it to me.
And we're going to discuss everything from culture, art. What?
Nothing.
Oh, she's in one of her moods again, guys. Okay, we're going to try to not get into a conflict while talking about conflict and
But
unraveling
the only way to the only way to handle conflict is by resolving it, not avoiding it. Just saying. Anyways.
Your SAS commander here, Mayhem. We are going to dive deep into the realms of culture, art, and everything in between. So buckle up, Buttercup, and join us on this ride.
Facts.
No printer.
What are you, Chris Brown?
Yeah. These hoes ain't loyal.
Mayhem is joining the rap battle.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about, we're going to start with the art of conflict and unraveling it. And what we're going to do is we're going to hit right into trending topics. In case you haven't heard or you've been living under a rock, it must have been a huge one. It's not like every month we haven't been graced with rappers going at each other's throats. And the latest and greatest are the saga of Drake and Kendrick Lamar. Kung Fu Kitty! Yeah. How about that? Let us know. She is an ultimate Kendrick fan. I love Kendrick too. Shout out. I love Kendrick and Drake. But Drake, I'm sorry, man. You gotta take the L on this one.
It's so funny.
You gotta
say
take the
that
L on this one.
You say that, and I really. So, little backstory. The weekend, J. Cole and Kendrick all got me through college. And I really try to create my own, because when I obsess, sometimes I need to hear them on repeat, especially when my ADHD is going off. So that's my own personal little quirk there. But I really tried hard to create an album or a playlist for Drake. It just never happened. I literally got 2 songs on it.
One Dance was one of them.
Oh, I swear to God. I swear
That's
to
all
God.
of us though. All of us
I
are that.
swear to God. I only had 2 songs. I couldn't.
Deny. One Dance
was definitely his hit. But he's the melody type person.
Yeah, I know. He drops beats.
Yeah.
But Drake, you can't go after Kung Fu Kenny, the Pulitzer Prize winning MC from another universe and realm.
He's not part of this planet, man.
And be able to walk away unscathed. Ain't happening, Drake. Ain't happening. Yeah.
Kung Fu King.
Yeah, but going back to the Drake songs.
King Cunt.
Yeah, so the YOLO song.
Was it YOLO? No.
Yeah, the YOLO song and One Dance. Those are definitely.
That's the model nigga YOLO.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know.
Yeah. I'm around it every day. No, but so honestly though, if you don't even listen to Drake, you at least know those 2 songs, right?
Yeah.
And it's those were his big hits that really put him on him on the map.
Yeah.
But yeah, no hate towards Drake. Drake, I love you, dude. But this one goes to Kung Fu Kenny.
I mean, listen,
This one goes to Kung Fu Kenny. I
don't know if I love Drake, but that's my personal opinion.
No, I love his. I love his artistry.
Mm-hmm.
You can't knock his beats. His beats are solid. His bars, different story. Beats are solid.
Yeah, he's a performer.
Yeah, he's a pop rapper. I think Drake is a pop rapper.
He absolutely 100% is. I'm
Okay.
not refuting that at all.
I don't think he comes from the culture. And Drake, I am sorry, you cannot come from the culture if you were raised in Toronto. No hate towards anyone in Toronto, but you did not grow up in the streets of New York or Compton.
King
so
Kunta is
you
literally
did not,
a reformed gangster.
You did not. I mean, even us with being from Shaolin, Wu-Tang.
We didn't. We rocked FUBU.
Yeah,
we rocked FUBU. We rocked FUBU, but we didn't come from the culture.
Yeah, Yeah, we didn't come from the culture, but we were.
We understand the culture.
Adjacency to the culture,
kind of there.
Yeah,
But
the adjacency to the culture allows us to talk this way and have some kind of credibility, because like as you were growing up on Staten Island, you know, while the rest of the boroughs were shitting on you, the only thing you had going for you was Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Shout out to Method Man, RZA.
The fact that they were Arabs, like, that kind of saved us too. Like, oh, you're Arab? Okay, you're part of the cool crowd.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. But like,
But
like Drake, you grew up in Disney, dude, and you know, you grew up in Toronto. So like culture, I don't think so.
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
as far as we know, right? I don't know everything about your life, but this is what rappers rap. That's how you know there's life stories, because they rap about it. Like I knew that The Weeknd came from the streets because that's all he talks about, and that's what led to him being so cold, and you know, he didn't have his dad
His struggle.
around
No,
him.
you live their struggle with them
Yes,
through their artistry.
Yes, exactly.
And you see them develop and you see them evolve. And you know,
even Ye, he talks about his struggle, and he came from a family that was
he came from a well-off family.
Yeah. But he talks about his struggles in Chicago and growing up, and this is what rap is about. It's literally,
rap is to celebrate the culture.
Yeah, celebrate the culture, but also intertwine that artistry that you have within you, that creativity, and allow you to talk about your life.
So let's break it down. We're going to break it down, right? Because like for those of you who may not have been aware of everything that's been going down, she has literally been slipping into the black hole of following play by play.
Listen, bro.
What has been issued, what it means, all of this stuff.
So
she goes down the rabbit hole at 3 a.m.
Son, like when I tell you my insomnia has been on another level, legit. Okay, so the first person shooter came out. I never really paid attention to the song.
No, I loved it.
Yeah, I
heard it in the car with me.
I heard it in the car with you, and I was like, "Oh, is that J. Cole?" First of all,
J. Cole and Drake. What does that mean?
Like, Drake, don't ever talk about lime green text, because like I'm so tired of these Samsung haters. A. B.
Samsung is definitely on top.
What kind of bar is that? Like, bro,
Samsung.
Like, give me something deep. Like, you know, I'm a deep person. So this is why I resonate with deep lyrics. And I am not trying to make any correlation here to any astrological signs. But the fact that I have a water moon and Kendrick has a water moon, he's deep as hell with his lyrics. And like, I don't know.
But I'm sorry, Drake is a Scorpio.
Yeah, I don't know.
And as the deepest sun sign, that's out there. Well, I mean,
he's
Scorpios are manipulative and vindictive. We know that. Those are baseline. When you're an unevolved Scorpio, you tend to be more manipulative and vindictive.
When you're an unevolved anything, right? You're just at the lowest vibration.
Yes, but like, so Scorpios are constantly have this bad aura around them of like always playing the long game of revenge, because they're trying to vindicate, you know, someone that did them wrong, because they are very loving people, right? And they're very passionate and they're very deep. But I think it's because they get so deep and so involved that they are also very easily hurt. And then when they get hurt, they don't forget, and they're out for like, they'll play the long game, 20 years waiting to get revenge. But yeah, didn't mean to sidetrack, but and derail. But when you said water moon, I was just like, okay, I mean, Scorpio.
Go. I forgot what I was talking about.
You were talking about
right. So I appreciate the art. I appreciate the art, and I appreciate the lyrical genius that he is, because I think people forget that he has a Pulitzer Prize. And
you're talking about
Kendrick, not Drake. Yes. Lyrically genius, Drake. No, they don't. They're not synonymous. I wouldn't put them in the same sentence, truthfully.
No, he's a beat master.
Does he make his own beats?
I don't know, but he knows how to select the beats that are trendy and hip and pop. Drake knows how to select the beats that will appeal to the masses.
Right.
Whereas rap, real rap, or the rap that we were raised on, is very it's a craft that is particular and acquired taste to a select demographic, and you have to really appreciate the art in order to to understand and
so let me tell you about how this all went down. Okay. Future had dropped his album, and literally when he first dropped his album,
why did Future drop his album? You gotta take it back.
So I wasn't even aware of this whole issue, because I don't keep up with the, what happens in Hollywood.
Keeping up with the Kardashians.
I don't keep up with that stuff. But apparently, Drake messed with one of the girls that was with Future, or something like that. It was about a girl. That's how. That's all I'm gonna give attention to. And when the album first dropped, it literally said Future and Metro Boomin, and there was no other people listed as like features.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hit like that, and then it's like, okay, I'm fucking with this. All right, this is cool. And then you hear Kendrick. I'm like, oh, he said these niggas sucking out of their necks, no. And he goes for it, and it's like you can tell. And then when he starts saying first person shooter, and he starts listing, and he's like, fuck sneak dissing. I'm coming straight for you. That's when okay, there's something going on. I listened to the song approximately, I lost count, actually. I lost count how many times I lost it. I think I even memorized
it.
Yo, I literally memorized the whole thing.
The fact that Kendrick is a Gemini doesn't help.
Okay, I didn't even see, it wasn't even about that. It wasn't even about that. She obsesses
over the people who share the same star sign.
I swear to God, no. I swear no.
Kanye was one. No. Kanye screwed us over.
No.
We didn't go to Egypt.
Okay. No. I was obsessed with The Weeknd. Obsessed with The Weeknd. And I still am to an extent, but not as much as before. And he's not a Gemini.
He's Aquarius.
So it has nothing to do with their sign. This is like, I appreciate their art so much. They literally talk to my soul. That's what it really is. They're talking to my soul.
Well, music is life.
Yes. Music to me is
if you have a hard time expressing yourself, I feel that you become way more vested in your music interests because it helps you express what you cannot readily express or you constantly suppress.
You rap with me right now?
No. Oh, God.
I'm fucking.
Yeah, because we talked about bipolarism. So when your temperament is bipolar, you're automatically going to choose violence.
I hope they came with 3 switches.
All right, can you pause that?
Got 2 T's with me.
Pause that.
I'm snatching.
Sorry, I'm just going to take it back to bipolarism and how...
Oh, now she's going to say every Gemini is bipolar.
I'm going to go back to bipolarism. In the lyrics, because he's a Gemini, and I'm just gonna tie contradiction though, because in the last drop, he goes, I live a boring life and I choose peace, but I'm ready for war. And here he's like, I'm bipolar.
My temperament's bipolar. I choose violence.
So it's like Kendrick, which side you on?
All sides.
No.
He's got all of them.
You can't be on all sides.
Yes, you can.
You can be a master of Zen. You look. We're going to take it back to, being
We're not destructing. We're not dissecting.
Being a guru at something. And he is a guru and he's a master at being a rapper and an MC. But I'm just like, if you chose the path of peace, then you're not going to...
No, because in the song, in 616, he says, yeah, I'll choose peace. But when it comes to war, I'm ready.
Yes.
So
yes, that's like a master of anything, like a kung fu master, like a martial arts master. They are masters. They are senseis for a reason. They know they can annihilate the hell out of anybody, but they don't go seeking it. And he's like, temperament, my bipolar's what?
Bipolar's my temperament is bipolar. I
choose violence.
That was the first one that he came out with. You gotta do them in order, bro.
And now he's at peace.
Don't fuck up his crap.
And now he's at peace.
Which one you at? Which one you at?
Mate,
rap is all about mayhem. Rap is all about the battle.
I am just sticking to logic and facts. That's it.
Oh my God.
I already said I'm Team Kendrick. I'm just saying, Kendrick.
This is why I listen to rap alone.
Because it makes sense to her.
I listen to rap alone, bro.
Well, we're talking and we're sharing our thoughts on this latest rap battle and unraveling the art of conflict through rap and how rap and culture and art is one of the largest platforms where conflict is displayed publicly in the public eye. So let's go ahead. You were talking about the story. So Future and Metro Boomin dropped their album. You peep Kendrick on the album. Mm. Kendrick is making references to first-person shooter. So first-person shooter clearly had some connotations in there, or there was some bad blood.
Who's the who's the big three? Is it J. Cole? Is it Aubrey? Is it KDot? Is it J. Cole? Is it Aubrey? Or is it KDot? Something I don't memorize J. Cole's line, but he said something like that. It's like Kendrick came out and said, "Man, fuck the big three. It's just Big Me." Saying he's got the real crown. But
he has the accolades to prove that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then that was the song. I like that.
Yeah, and then I don't know. I didn't even listen to Drake's push-ups. Truthfully, it was like all I got.
No,
out
there
of
were
it,
a few though. There was
push-ups and there was the AI one. And then push-ups was all about like.
But the AI one got pulled off of streaming platforms because there's a cease and desist against Drake for using AI-generated voices such as Tupac and Snoop Dogg in his material without consent. So, I think those rap tracks, the diss tracks, got pulled off of streaming platforms because of that. Which is ironic because when Ye joined all of this.
No, the season. So hold on. So what happened was, Ye got on this when he was on the download or whatever, the other podcast that came out, and then.
But Ye was neutral at first. Ye had dropped a story about Kendrick, and he had dropped a story about Drake.
I don't know if Ye was neutral. He was just Ye. He was just Team Ye in that post. He was like, Ye is the only one that's ever gone down and come back up, bitches. And he was like, and I watched Kendrick on No Parties in LA. But then he came out and did a remix to Like That. And then apparently Drake sent the cease and desist to Like That, to that remix. Which proves that he's a bitch.
Why? He's just protecting his material. All right. Anyway. Protecting your material, using the legal system to your advantage is not being a bitch. But okay.
I stand by what I said.
You could stand by what you say. All right, complete the story.
Right.
Complete the storyline. This is why we need fucking...
No, okay.
You know, scripts and shit and prompts. Because she just gets lost in her own thoughts because she's fucking bipolar.
She's clearly upset that I'm bipolar.
No, you use it as a convenient crutch whenever you want to because you don't want to formulate your thoughts. Because you just want to go left, right, left, right, left, right. Let's go in progression, please. We're trying to continue the story.
So let me continue the story. That would be great.
All right. Can you drop your arm so people can see the sign? Thanks.
My new recording today was going to be an idea. Anyway, to sum up the story, folks, since I have to be very manicured on this podcast,
we're half an hour in and people haven't gotten the succinct timeline of what had taken place to lead up to the diss track.
Well, I'm sure everybody knows. Okay, dropped. It was this for this.
We're doing it now, for those that don't know. Let's give you the Bold Bitch Banter rundown. So bad blood between Future and Drake.
Right. And
leads to Metro Boomin and Future dropping an album. Leads to features with Kendrick on
Kendrick calling out J. Cole and Drake. And then J. Cole publishing a diss. He apologized, took it back. Drake put
J. Cole, hats off to you.
Drake stood 10 toes down, like he said, and he dropped 2 diss tracks, one of them being push-ups, and it was like something about you're small, you wear small shoes, stupid shit like that. And then Kendrick said, okay, I'm gonna whoop your ass. And then he dropped Euphoria, which was 6 minutes of just pure character dissemination. Truthfully, it was like he dissected his entire character in 6 minutes and 24 seconds. And then he dropped another one this morning, actually. Was it this morning or yesterday? It was this morning. It was 6:16. He dropped it at 6:16 and he calls it 6:16 in LA.
Well, I'm just...
I gave you a whole summary of what happened.
Hats off to Kendrick for stealing the thunder of Euphoria and the double entendre there, since everyone probably knows that Drake was one of the executive producers of the Euphoria show on HBO that was a large hit that was hypersexualizing teens. I don't want to get into the storyline of that. You know, it was a good show for those who watched it, for those who didn't care for it. You didn't miss much. You didn't miss much. I got through a few episodes and I was just like, wow.
What's it about?
There's a lot of just cheating going on, really, and a lot of like, it was showing, you know, what could happen in today's society where, you know, social media is a big influence in the way kids are being raised these days. And so, you know, teens are automatically young adults. Like they're robbed of their whole, you know, that adolescent, like, figuring out your weirdness and figuring out, like, you know, what you're going to turn into, you know, that whole caterpillar to butterfly kind of stage, the cocoon, the teen cocoon, where you're like weird and you're going through puberty and you're doing all this shit. It's like kids these days go from kids to like
30
adults. I get so surprised when people tell me they're teens, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? The hormones
Going
from the
back
food
to
are
those
making them giant.
Those what are they called? Gen Zers?
Gen
Zers looking like they're
Gen
older
Zers.
than millennials.
Well, it's not even that. Like, hormones a lot in the food and everything, so like they're becoming giants, right? And B, it's like, when you got 10-year-olds being banned from Sephora because of this whole craze of beauty product regimen, and like, I gotta do this on my face, and I gotta do, like, just live your age. Just live your age. There's no world in which a 10-year-old needs to put on toner and moisturizer and Drunk Elephant and all this other shit. Like, I went into Sephora 2 weeks ago, and I took my daughter. I'm making a point here, okay? Because it literally addresses these things. How teens are subjected to growing up so quickly. And a lot of it has to do around sexualization, because when you're going through puberty and like your raging hormones and everything, right, that's just natural. But now it's just like to the umpteenth degree, and where there's like a lot of scandal going on and cheating and backstabbing and all this shit. So like, navigating character flaws is one thing. But let me go back to the story of me going to Sephora 2 weeks ago, and my daughter is with me, and I'm picking up Glow Recipe toner. I love the Korean skincare products, and this is like watermelon based, and it's all natural. And I had ran out of the toner, and so I go there and I'm getting it, and at the cash register, because my daughter's with me, she goes, "Is this for you or for her?" I was like, "For me, definitely not her." And she was like, "Yeah, because we are not allowed to sell it to you if she's in your presence, because apparently it's becoming a really big deal." Because all this, once again, fucking social media shit of, I gotta be a preppy it girl, I gotta have my Stanley cup, and I gotta walk in with my caramel cream frappuccino, whatever it is, to school, and I gotta have, the certain leggings on with the certain Crocs, and my face routine has to be done, right? And I gotta have Drunk Elephant products with me in my bag at school to get cred.
I definitely wasn't a kid then.
Yeah,
I was the biggest tomboy on the business planet.
It was
I
crazy.
think I cried to my mom at the age of like 14, 15. Before my sweet 16, I was like, "Can I please do my eyebrows? I have the meanest unibrow."
So the message of all of this is that Drake was an executive producer for this kind of shit. Like, just like, I don't know if there was a real message behind it, or if it was just over exploiting the fact that being a teen these days is hard. And it might be harder than when we were teens, because at least when we were teens, we didn't have such advanced technology, and where filters and all this shit, and like, everyone wants to be some like it was okay to be ugly back in the day in our age. Now it's not. But anyway,
but addressing like the conflict of what's happening, it's like, okay, let's forget all the other bullshit, because
I was going to Euphoria. Hold on, I'm tying it back to the Euphoria thing. So sorry, Drake, but it's gotta sting that the number one, assimilation or connotation associated with Euphoria now is Kendrick Lamar's diss track.
If you Google Euphoria, you don't see the show Euphoria.
And he was euphoric, elated while he was doing this diss track. So it was.
But
like,
why, right? There's a motive. So Kendrick is motive, and he says that he's like, I don't. This isn't me speaking. I'm talking about the culture, because if you're in this age, the millennial age, or even, it doesn't have, I don't want to exclude it to just the millennial age. It's like, you understand what are the motives, what are the intentions of these artists, right? And it's like, if your motives and intentions with like Euphoria is to sexualize teens, or if your motive and intentions is to just do things for the views, do things for the likes,
or sign on doing rappers and artists genuine, and like,
and it's
not
like
fairly compensate
you're signing
them.
on these black artists to gain street cred, or to gain rep, like, that's not doing it with any genuine nature. And I think that's therein the problem. It has nothing to do with the fact that you're half black.
But I don't even think it's just signing them on. It's the fact that they're talking about his percentages too. It's like, he's not fairly compensating these new upcomers that really just want their fair shot, right? They want their chance at success and at fame and everything. And sometimes they're just not savvy enough to understand that they're being taken advantage of.
Right, but we're going back to the point of the intentions behind each person's motives, right? Drake is not necessarily genuine with what he's doing, whether it's his work or the people who he's signing. these are just these are semantics. We want to get to the point of the intentions behind why people create conflict, right? The intentions behind why conflict actually happens, which is a perfect segue into the next topic.
We're not done with this topic.
I know,
yet.
But I'm saying we gotta tie it in, right? So that is what is apparently rubbing all of these other artists wrong, is that he's not genuine with the culture. Obviously he's done a lot of things to piss off all of these artists for them to cause essentially
the fact that
whole
people are
cohort
just
of people coming against him. It's like all these rappers, we're
like peaceful in their own lane. You never really thought that they would like merge or do features with one another, or actually not just jump on the bandwagon, actually have something to say because they were scorned, right? So it's not like everyone's just ganging up on Drake because they're like, oh, this is the winning side or this is the winning hand. Let me jump on here and get my 15 minutes of fame. No, they're actually airing out things that had happened to them because you could sense there's a sense of distaste there and that they have been scorned or done wrong. And it leads into the fact, in the 2 albums ago with Drake, like where he was like, I can't trust my inner circle and extortion's being plotted on him and that his therapist voice is making the choices for him and all this shit. And it's like, Drake, how bad is your circle that, your inner circle is plotting extortion on you constantly? Like, what is going on? Why is that? Have you stopped to reflect and to think, okay, the people that are around me, I'm attracting them for a reason. Have you looked at yourself and understanding, have you done something to them also? Have you held yourself accountable?
Rappers and predominantly Kendrick Lamar just coming at him because it's like enough is enough. Enough is enough of, the cultural appropriation, the intentions behind how you're moving. So that's essentially the crux of the whole conflict, in my opinion, unless you have anything else to find.
I wanted to elaborate. I wanted to elaborate on the artistry. I wanted to elaborate that in the end, between this conflict, why does conflict exist? Conflict exists because people don't see eye to eye, right? And in the midst of what we are witnessing here with legendary comebacks, we are the winners of this conflict, the bystanders, because we are the ones that are being able to, we're the ones being provided the art, right? So you have side A with the conflict, side B with the conflict, and because this is done in a productive manner, right? And it's through culture and it's through art forms and it's through music, right? Things aren't violent, right? Or at least things are getting nasty with people and people are calling each other out. But in the end, you are still witnessing and you are still able to enjoy, fruitful music at the end of the day, to whichever taste you like, right? But that's why I think that this is actually a productive example of conflict. And I think that in the end, we are here, we are being entertained. Although it might be sour for the individuals themselves, right? Because conflict is never a good thing. It's never a positive thing. They are able to turn it into a positive. And that's what rap is all about, right? You're able to turn the negative into a positive because you are through expression and, exposing the truth and expressing and being raw and real and authentic, just like we are. So that's why it resonates for me. And that's why I think it's a productive thing, irrespective of who comes out winning or if it becomes inclusive, assuming nobody loses any lives. God rest your soul, Tupac. But there's instances where it has gone south before, right? Because then the street cred really gets to their heads. And then they're like, it's not just offing each other lyrically, it becomes offing each other in life, which I hope it doesn't get to that, because I hope both men are in a place of notoriety, popularity, everything that they want, they can have, hopefully at peace. Kendrick seems to allude in one of the latest drops, the 616 drop, that, his life is boring now because he's found peace, but don't mess with me because, I'll be prepared for war kind of thing, which is the correlation of Kung Fu Kenny as a sensei. He's finally evolved and mastered his sensory and his skills, where he doesn't go seeking the altercation, but if it comes to his step, if you bring the smoke, he's gonna show you how it's done. But I think we're the winners in the end, being able to witness good music, good art, and just like the truth, understanding what's going on. The truth shall always prevail. That's my take on the artistry associated with the trending conflict that's happening right now with rappers, and this person's outing this person and that person's outing that person. Sometimes I feel like, I get a sense of when it becomes a little bit too orchestrated, that this is part of a whole ploy and it's publicity and blah, 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 which could be to a certain extent and a certain degree. But there's been a lot of truths that have been dropping lately. And it's like, wow, eye-opening truths. It's like, yo, this is the industry. Wow, okay. The industry started off something and it's somewhere else right now. And I think people are trying to bring it back to its integrity.
This is just the era of truth.
Yeah.
Regardless of music, regardless
Pluto is in Aquarius.
Regardless of what's happening
Pluto.
in the industry with like the truths of Disney, this has just been the unveiling of truth, of conflict, right? An unveiling of the evils of the world, I might say. And it's just been ever since, I can't even date back when, but it just feels like the past few months we've just been unveiling and peeling back the layers of people, of societies, and the truth is really coming out, and the truth is ugly, but the truth shall set you free.
Look at her being so cliche. The truth shall set you free. No, it's the hidden truths that set you free, not the general truths that we all are fully aware of, because that's free to interpret at everyone's leisure. It's the hidden truth.
The fact that it was the general truth. I said it's the hidden truth.
No, you didn't say hidden truth. We can rewind that.
Semantics, whatever.
Chrissy, can you edit that? Can you edit that? Can you say, she did not say hidden truth? She said truths. You said the truth shall set you free, not the hidden truth. Anyway.
Okay, I'm cliche.
Cultural. We're talking about cultural, artistic, societal, and everything and anything in between. And so society today is at unrest. And I'm going to hit it heavy, and there's no introduction, and it is what it is, right? I am restless in this unrest and what is going on in society with our First Amendment right of freedom to speech happening all across college campuses. It is actually a shame to see that higher education institution administration, as well as government administration, are in cahoots when it comes to students' exemplary right for the freedom to protest peacefully what they do not align with. And I see that, once again, if you have the power, you control the narrative, and the narrative is being spun such that these protests are encampments, forceful encampments, and they're illegal to student bylaws and this, that, and the other. So, you mean to tell me it's historically evident that, higher education, academia, has been a change maker, right? In the way we live today. It has been a change maker. It's been a forum. It's been a platform for major revolutionary change, right? Racism, basic human rights, voting rights. It all started and all stemmed from academia. And it's like, now we're in an age where, because social media can allow you to see the truth at instantaneous, thunderous speed, people can't control the narrative a little bit. And so they decide to control the narrative in other ways. And so it is very disheartening and sad to see that, law enforcement is being called on students for sitting down and protesting the fact that they want certain basic rights to be heard. They're not even demanding. They just want student rights to be heard. And it's like, as a student body population, if I am a student at an institution and I am following the rules, but I am protesting what my administration is doing, it is my tuition dollars that are allowing and that's paying the salary of all of those administrators, in addition to grant funding. But if it wasn't for my hard work of getting good grades, getting into the institution, funding the institution wouldn't be at a world ranking or the US and world news ranking spot that it would be in order to unlock additional grant funding. So once again, it is the students' hard work. It is the students' research efforts. It is the students' academic excellence that allows these institutions to be very accoladed and prestigious and highly regarded, because you are talking about a caliber of individuals that are seeking improvement, seeking knowledge, seeking truth, seeking power, right? Knowledge is power. Truth is power. And, you know, I don't want to call out a specific university, but, you know,
I will.
No,
I'm disgraced at the fact that the president of Colombia, an Egyptian nonetheless, has decided to call the cops not once but twice on the students who were peacefully protesting and saying that they were putting a specific group of students in danger. But may I add that those specific group of students, not sure if I could say it online in full Kanye moment, the Jews, they were not in danger. They're actually, there's a the Jews for Palestine. And it's like, why stunt their voice? Why should we silence them? You know, their voice matters too. They're not in danger, right? And it's just like, going back to it, it's like, why also would you feel compelled as an Egyptian woman, and I stress Egyptian, not because we're Egyptian, but because knowing what the culture and being close to the country that is, or the state that is at war right now, you can sympathize to some extent, right? To your Arab sisters and brothers, and to feel compelled to call the cops on a peaceful protest against the war. And it's not against religion, because we have conflicted the narrative to make it seem like it's a religious-based war when it has nothing to do with religion. It's just basic human rights on a fundamental level. And I think everybody's losing sight of that. And truly, that disheartens me, the fact that you're an Arabic woman. You should at least have some sympathy towards your Arabic sisters and brothers, because religious perspectives have no stake in this at this point. Like, it's just basic humanity. That's all it takes.
I don't think it has to do with Arab.
Yeah, but when you're an Arab, you can sympathize a little bit more.
No, it's not. It's human. It's basic human rights.
I get it.
You
but
don't have to be
layer.
Middle Eastern.
I know that.
You don't have to be of a certain facet.
I'm not
or
saying that you have to be. What I'm saying is, as an Arab, it makes you understand even more. Like, already as a basic human being, you should be understanding. As an Arab who is close to the country and understands the history of the country, because we all are aware of the culture. We're all aware of the history before it has been
political
unveiled,
bureaucracy behind
before it has been
what's
unveiled
happening
on
in the Middle
TikTok.
East.
We have grown up on this and understanding the political warfare that's happening. So it's like understanding that this isn't something new to us. We understand what's happening. So it's like we should have a little bit more of an understanding, right? A little bit more sympathy towards these people who have been going through this for so many years. And I'm not saying that there's a precedent or that there's a checkbox that you have to be an Arab to understand. Absolutely not. You just have to be a fucking human being to understand. That's what I'm saying.
That's not what you said, but all right, it is what it is. At this point, I'm just gonna boil it back down to the basics and the facts and logic once again. Because while I applaud your passionate endeavors in trying to explain the situation, I think some points are being lost on you. It's not, you are the first Middle Eastern woman president of an Ivy League institution, a prestigious Ivy League institution in the United States of America. You should have been more even-keeled and not a snitch on your students. At the end of the day, everyone that shows up to that university is within your care, is within your judgment. Your judgment has to be clear. You have to have a sense of clarity and leadership in order to be unbiased. And what you showed the world was that you were biased. And so that's where I think it hurts the most. It's that you had this wonderful opportunity and you squashed it and you squandered it, because you could have been the voice of reason. You could have been the voice of reason. You could have led by example, but then you chose not to. And, you know, I won't get involved in politics and bureaucracy and board of trustees and who you've got to please and all these things. But, you know, I mean, when the Harvard president came out in the first set of unrest and protests and such, and when she said she will not limit freedom of speech for her students, you know, she gracefully took that initiative. And when the board of trustees told her that she has to resign, she resigned. You know, it was viewed upon as a bully act and tactic from the board of trustees at that point in time to tell her that she has to resign because she didn't answer Congress properly. I think she answered Congress just fine. As a president of an academic institution, you have the moral obligation to lead by example. And the fact that you had an opportunity of being the first female president of a university such as Columbia, very prestigious Ivy League, and it's not just first female president, you're first female Middle Eastern president. That's a big, you know, that's a big hoorah for Middle Eastern women we come from a culture and a lineage of powerful, badass women, but, you know, once again, control the narrative and you control the script of what's going on, right? And so the perception is females from the Middle East, you know, or at least now it's not as general as it used to be. But I was growing up here and you know, viewed upon up until recently that, you know, it's just male chauvinism that exists in the Middle East, not understanding that it's truly a matriarch and that truly females lead and female have power and females have a voice. But, you know, it is what it is. We are where we are today. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that you had to backstab your students that are within your care. Nonetheless, person that really pisses me off the most in all of this is the Speaker of the House. I even forget his fucking name because it means nothing because he's just a puppet and he has to read off of a piece of paper of what's being told to him. Is that when he first showed up to the protests in New York City and he decided that he was going to reprimand the kids as if, you know, he was their dad and telling them, stop being foolish, go back to class and stop wasting your parents' money. Is the irony lost on you, dude? You literally passed the bill within 24 to 48 hours after making this visit, which was completely unnecessary. And all it did was add fuel to the fire, by the way. That there was a $95 billion bill that got passed to ban TikTok, further support the war that's in Ukraine and the war that is happening in Gaza right now. And it's like, you know, when do you're like the irony and the hypocrisy of you yelling at the kids for wasting their parents' money, which is an elective or an elected agreement that happens between familial ties and bonds, whereas as taxpayers that live in this country, you work for us and you decide to waste and squander our money anyway and we don't have a say over it. It's like, oh, my mind is blown that you could stand in front of TV news outlets and say this shit and 48 hours later and not and then belittle the intelligence, the basic understanding of human beings, right? That they won't actually add 1 + 1 together because the window was too narrow of a time frame for it to pass by for people to forget. So it was like, guys, the fact that they're diminishing the basic level of intellect that human beings have, and the fact that they are scolding these children of tomorrow, the future of tomorrow, they're not children, right? They're going in, they're children when you're assaulting them. They're children when you are unleashing law enforcement on them. You know, teens don't deserve to get hit, right? Like, they're teenagers. They go into college, teenagers, they graduate college as adults. And that is why it is a very pivotal time in their life. We are sitting here talking about high school and the weirdness of high school and, you know, growing up into figuring who you are. You really understand your power and your potential when you are in your college years, because you go in a teenager and you walk out an adult, and your knowledge and your brain as it's developing unlocks to a next level potential. So, you know, when you add all these things up and you're talking to a demographic of students who are more aware because they have access to technology, they have access to the information, they will go down the rabbit hole of figuring out what was the truth, what was being covered up, what is a lie, what needs to be uncovered, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. They are connecting the dots. So it's kind of like belittling their intelligence and then nonetheless going to Ivy League schools and telling the students that busted their ass, so they're top class, right, to get into Ivy League schools to begin with, and telling them that, you know, stop being a dick and go back to class. Like, why, who gave you that right? Who gave you that right? And nonetheless, you are the representative, you are the House representative, you are the speaker, and you're talking down to people who love that way. If anything, you should be talking up to them, okay? Because they are doing something that, you know, many, like the volume that we are witnessing today of the unrest because of that one act of calling law enforcement on students is unheard of, okay? Especially when they are peacefully protesting and expressing their right and their opinion in an unbiased land. Like when you are on a university campus, you are secure to speak your thoughts and your intellect and represent where you stand in life, because that is part of the debate. That is part of the academic learning experience. If you are doing it respectfully, if you're doing it peacefully, there should always be a forum for you to express yourself. But the fact that we're silencing that speaks a lot, speaks volumes to the world leader, and the First Amendment rights of freedom of speech, and that there is no such thing as freedom. Nothing is free. Anything that's free has a price, and we are witnessing that today, because when that first act happened, you unraveled a chain of events across the country that you could no longer control. And for the president himself to come up on whatever he came up on yesterday, I don't know if it was a news outlet or if it was just one of his press releases or whatever it was, but for him to equate college kids that are intellectual and academics and they're bettering themselves and making something of themselves, to equate them to a bunch of hooligans is uncalled for and unnecessary. And you guys really, when the truth is getting uncovered, that there are outside influences that are turning these peaceful protests into non-peaceful protests, you really have to call out who they are, and you can't just sweep it under the rug, right? The truth has to be uncovered. And in this in this specific unraveling of this conflict, it is because people are sick and tired of seeing the rhetoric and the narrative that's being displayed on the screen different than what is reality, okay? And I think enough is enough, right? And so the rhetoric on the screen is that, you know, we need the hostages. Yes, we need the hostages back. But don't you think that if you put 1 + 1 together, the undiscriminatory bombing that's happening across a 20-mile strip of land would have might have hurt 1 or 2 of your hostages? So don't you think that, you know, people won't put 1 + 1 together, that's basic common knowledge and common sense, and the fact that humanitarian aid is being blocked to children? 15,000 children, I believe, have died as a result of this unfathomable war. It's only a war when there are 2 sides, and there are no 2 sides here. So I don't see where the war is. I see this as, I'm going to call it out as it is, I see this as a genocide. I see this as, you know, bullying, the bullying in its purest forms of, we would like to just eradicate you and silence you to death. And that's what's happening, because there's no, it's David and Goliath, right? and trying to put it in the simplest terms. And in this fact, it's like, David's not going to win. David's not going to win in this battle. David's not going to win unless David has outside support. And that's why the world is at unrest. The world is at unease. And it is, we look to our leaders that we elect within our government systems that we have created through civilization and democracy, right? To represent our voice. And unfortunately, all of our leaders are turning their backs. They're not representing the voice of the people. And that's why you're going to continue to have unrest. And I'm just a commoner. Of course, I'm not going to explain what's already out there and in everyone's face, you know, at face value. But, you know, conflict has 2 sides. Conflict has 2 sides because they don't agree. And then conflict starts getting nasty and violent. You know, we exhibited the beautiful side of conflict and artistry, and how, you know, the bystanders are the winners of it all, because they're just getting beautiful diss tracks here and there. And then the ugly side of conflict is what we are witnessing, you know, with the unrest that's happening across everywhere, because you have 2 sides that are not agreeing to something. But then when the weaker side starts to feel like it's losing, you know, they start pulling it becomes no holds barred. Voices start getting louder, violence starts being enacted and exercised. And then at that point, you are not, as a bystander, you are not benefiting from any of this, and all you're doing is hurting, and you feel helpless because you can't do anything to help put an end to it, stop it, or change it. And it's unfortunate. So you see both sides of the coin here with, unraveling conflict, how it has a beautiful side and it has an ugly side. And unfortunately, we are living reality of an ugly side in a very serious topic. Serious topics tend to get ugly, because they're serious, because human life is at risk. Human life is at stake here, and everything that we've worked for as civilized, as a civilization, right, is being questioned at this moment in time. And it's like, who are we if we can't stand up for what's right? And who are we if we can't put an end to this amicably, right? So that's the hard truth of conflict for me, at least, or for what's going on and in this unrest. You stayed silent for the whole time.
I was letting you go on with your soliloquy, so.
Oh, my soliloquy. It wasn't a soliloquy. It was a dissertation.
Okay.
You forgot that one.
I did.
Mm-hmm. PhD, the way to be.
You don't have one, though.
Yeah, neither do you.
Never said I do.
Yeah, so I said dissertation because you said soliloquy. So I beat you. I one-upped you.
Wow.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Conflict, once again. Mm-hmm. And then this is the middle. We'll call this the middle conflict. Her and I got into a fight, by the way, this morning, guys, because, sometimes I don't agree with the way she expresses herself.
I don't agree with the way Miss thinks sometimes. So
it's okay.
You can agree or disagree sometimes. But that's not why we're here today. We're here because, my sister put all joking aside, she put it together very eloquently, with a lot of facts. And she's very direct with the narrative that we want to, kind of shed light on. But I will opine on that by saying that, you talk about this as evil, and I might get canceled for saying this, but this is sort of like a necessary evil, I want to say, because the world is waking up. And we talk about Gen X or Gen Zers, but they are the generation that's really going to shape things for us. And like I said before, this is the era of truth, unveiling the truth, the hidden truth. So we, conflict, you can't escape it. You have to resolve it. And by unveiling the hidden truth and exposing all the lies that we've been told and the narratives that fit the nation that we reside in, whatever the case may be, we are changing the narrative of the future. And it's being led by, the generation that's coming. You can't lie to them. If you ever dealt with a Gen Zer, you can't lie to them. They have unfettered access to all of these resources to uncover the truth, whether you want them to or not. And kudos to them, truthfully. I say this as a millennial, really proud of you guys. We might shit on you guys, but it's all jokes when, when this is the narrative that you're pushing, and this is the way that you're going about it. Hats off to you, truthfully. You are the leaders of today and tomorrow and the future that's to come. You are redefining what it means to be a free thinker, somebody who speaks with pride, somebody who speaks against the oppressor, despite the numbers that despite the disadvantage sometimes in the numbers. But you guys have spoken the loudest and with the most amount of people standing by you. So you're really showing that the people have the power. We're reclaiming that power that we have relinquished to the 12 families that truly run the whole world. So that's what I want to say. You have redefined conflict by showing us that we can resolve it by just pushing through and really and unveiling the truth in a very how do I say this? It's not even a confrontational way, because if you look at these videos on TikTok, these students are having very poised and cordial conversations with like the presidents of the universities. They're not getting loud, they're not getting aggressive, they're not getting physical. The irony is that those who are agitating these encampments are actually those who are are speaking for the other side, the oppressors. And the irony is not lost on us. It's like, the people who feel like they are,
they're losing
the conflict, and they're subjected to anti-Semitic comments. They're actually the ones who are actually the oppressors. They're always trying to oppress the peaceful protests. And if you look at UCLA, the agitators that came in with crowbars, and it's just like the irony that you guys feel that the whole world is against you, the whole world is hating you, but really that's not the case, because to me, at least, Free Palestine is beyond just the country or the state itself and the people, freeing the people of the oppression. It's freeing the people of being oppressed by not being able to share the truth, not being able to speak out against the evil. It surpasses the actual physicality of the state, the people they're going through. To me, they're just a physical symbol of what this generation is freeing themselves of. Just essentially freeing yourself of oppression. To me, that's what Free Palestine stands for. So when people say Free Palestine, I see it as more than just what's happening, in Gaza. Unfortunately, it's more of like redefining the future. And to me, it's like, this is a way, I think it's a more productive way of dealing with conflict, truthfully. And it sucks right now that this is what we have to see on social media and around the world. But like I said, going back to that initial statement, I think this is the necessary evil that we need to go through in this time to redefine, our future moving forward.
The irony is not lost on me that we are raised to be the change we want to see. And when we're physically enacting the change by protesting the fact that, higher education institutions shouldn't have investments in foreign countries, and you should be investing in, the research that's taking place on homeland.
We should have free education.
We should have free education. I mean, I'm not even a politician whatsoever, but, the irony of be the change you want to see, and when you are implementing the change physically by protesting, by your basic right of protesting in peace, you are being reprimanded for it. It's like, are we really the change we want to see? But keep going, Gen Z. You're leading the way. You are the change that we want to see, and hopefully, we won't relent. We are 7 months minus 4 days. Yeah, hopefully it won't be much longer until people start to get the bigger picture and people understand that they're going to have to meet us halfway.
The world is waking up.
Yep. And with that, we are going to resolve this conflict.
Is it conflict?
We're going to resolve this conflict by, asking you guys to help us engage, right? And follow us. And, if you guys continue to like this material, hit that like, comment, and share. Show us you care, people.
Don't be a douche. Just show some love.
We're on all streaming platforms. She's not supposed to say that. She's supposed to say share the tribe,
okay,
keep the vibe.
I'll say, okay, you could edit that out, Chrissy. Don't. I don't care. Share the tribe to keep the vibe, or share the vibe to keep the tribe, guys. We're here for you at the end of the day. So, show us that you care.
I already said show us that you care. You could say
hit that like, follow, and share.
Yeah.
Show us that you care.
Share the tribe to keep the vibe, guys.
It's actually share the vibe, keep the tribe.
Whatever. It works both ways.
Only I get to.
Just like Drake.
You just called him. I'm not gonna. It works both ways.
Yeah. All right.
Did you just call him bisexual?
Do you want to end with our tagline and remember to always be kind?
I'm a bitch.
I was gonna say it.